Hi guys, this video is going to be all about my labor and delivery. So my son is actually sleeping somewhere over here, so if he starts to get fussy, I may have to stop this video and go get him, but you know how that goes. So let me get into my experience. I had my son, it's been almost a couple weeks now, and the pregnancy was completely normal. There was no complications, no health problems. Everything went great. My blood pressure, everything was completely normal. So, when I got up into like the third trimester, like the final couple weeks, I'd say even before that, around like 35, 36 weeks, I started feeling really uncomfortable. If you've been pregnant before, you know, like the third trimester is just terrible. Like you just want it to be over. So that's pretty much how I was feeling. And that's maybe a little bit before then is when I started doing like the red leaf raspberry tea and what else did I do? The evening primrose oil. And I found that it wasn't really helping with anything. It wasn't helping, I didn't think it was helping my cervix to soften or anything like that. So I actually stopped taking it. I took it for a couple weeks. All it was really doing was giving me the most painful Braxton Hicks contractions. So I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. And I'll say like around 38 weeks, that's when I finally said, you know what, there's nothing I can do to, speed this up or, make it easier for me. I'm just gonna let things be, and whatever happens, happens. And so I stopped worrying about when he was gonna come, and I just started relaxing and just waiting for my due date. And the last couple weeks of pregnancy, every time I went to the doctor, they told me that I was only 1 centimeter dilated. So I thought, you know what, I don't know when this is gonna happen. So I just said, I was just like, let's relax. So on my due date, it was just a normal night. And what was funny about it was that I have this this whiteboard up in my kitchen where it's above the sink, and I post quotes on there. And the last quote that I put up there was maybe about 5 months ago, and it's been up there forever. It was up there for a long time. What was the quote? In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Because I was going through some things on the job, and I just told myself, you know what, stay positive. You're going through a difficult time, but things will get better, and you can find the good things and everything. So I put up that quote above the sink. The night that I went into labor, which is really interesting, I actually took that down, changed it to a different quote, and it was a quote, I can't remember the exact wording, but it said something about, think about the joy and that will burn out the pain. So that was a quote that I put up the night I went into labor. I had no idea I was gonna go into labor that night. I just felt that I wanted to change that, and somehow I changed it on the day that I went into labor, which was really interesting. I'm really astounded by that. So the night that I went into labor, like I said, it was a normal night. Hubby and I were chilling on the couch watching a movie. We were actually watching Batman v Superman. And then I said, babe, do you want to watch the Republican convention? Because Donald Trump is supposed to be talking tonight. So we said yes. We started watching it. Around the time that Ivanka Trump came on, she started introducing her dad. I started feeling contractions, and it was so painful. I didn't know if that was a real thing, but they just came on suddenly. And then I tried to get on my birthing ball and tried to just bend over on that and try to relieve some of the pain, but it didn't help. I went to the bathroom. I felt the most painful contractions. So after about 10-15 minutes of feeling that horrible pain, I said, you know what, I'm gonna download the contraction timer, start timing these contractions, because they're coming regularly. Like, they're not random like they were before. So I started to time them, and they were 5 minutes apart. So I think I timed them for about an hour. And then after that, I was like, whoa, this is the real thing. This is happening, because they were like 5, 4, 3 minutes apart. And that's how my contractions started. Like, I know most women start from like 10 minutes apart, but mine started from 5 minutes apart right away, and they were so painful. So the whole time Donald Trump is giving this speech, I'm in labor and going through these contractions. I'm not even looking at the TV or thinking about TV, because I can't concentrate on anything but those contractions. So that was around 10 p.m. at night. From then, I stayed up. These contractions kept coming: 11, 12, midnight, 1, 2, 3. And normally I can watch like YouTube videos to like put me to sleep, calm me down. I tried that. I couldn't even watch it. I tried to take Tylenol so that I could get some sleep. Around like, I'd say like 1 o'clock in the morning, I called my doctor, the doctor on call for my OBGYN, and told her like, hey, I'm having these contractions. I think this is it. And she told me to just wait until, they were so painful that I can't talk or do anything. So I said, you know what? The hospital opens, or labor and delivery at the hospital that I was delivering at opens at 5 a.m. So I told myself, like, I'll wait until maybe like 4 a.m. I'll get hubby up, and then we can go to the hospital. So this whole time, from like 10 p.m. at night until like 4 a.m., I'm laboring on the couch. I'm having contractions every 5 minutes, and I'm laboring by myself. My husband was concerned. Like, I told him that night, I said, I think this is it. He put the hospital bag by the door. He wanted me to come to bed. I said no. He kept peeping his head around the corner and checking on me, but he pretty much slept through my whole labor, because I told him before I even went into labor, like, while I'm in pain, I don't want anybody touching me or saying anything to me. Like, just be quiet, leave me alone. So that worked out perfectly for me, because I was able to get through those contractions without being annoyed, and that really helped. So he was sleeping in the bedroom. I was here laboring on the couch all that time, and then at 4, I got up, took a shower, and this might be TMI. I went to the shower, kind of cleaned up a little bit down there, because I was like, you know what, I'm about to go in and everybody's about to see my business, so I better make sure that it's decent. Did that, which was hard to shave, because, well, you're having contractions every 5, 4 minutes, and so I had to stop. It took me a while to get that done. And so then when I got out of the shower, it was around 4:30 a.m. I woke hubby up. I said, look, this is it. Excuse me. We have to go. So he got up, took a shower, helped me get dressed, because at this point I was done. Like, I didn't care what I looked like, what I had on. I was just like, grab a shirt, grab pants, shoes, socks, let's get out. And so he drove to the hospital. It was like around 5 a.m. so nobody was on the road. He was driving kind of fast. We got there, I'd say we got to the hospital around like 5:15, 5:30, checked in. So while I'm checking in at the counter, you know, they're trying to make copies of my ID and have me fill out a little form and all this stuff. And I'm just trying to hold it together and do all this. And then finally they got me a wheelchair, took me up to the room. And the hospital that I went to was so full that we didn't even get a labor and delivery suite. We had to labor in triage because all of their rooms were full. So they kind of set me up. Well, okay, let me rewind. When we got to the triage room, of course they hooked me up to the fetal monitor and all that stuff and monitor the contractions. So I'm hooked up to that. I'm still, of course, laboring. The contractions are coming. And it's kind of cool when you get hooked up to that because you can see like the peak and you can see when that contraction is coming and when it's going. So that was pretty cool. And, you know, hubby's just anxious. He's there by my side, trying to watch TV, trying to be on his phone, trying to keep himself busy. And he's trying to tend to me too. But I just, like I said, I don't want to talk, and he's trying to kiss me. I just don't want it. So I kept turning to my sides. I kept in that bed turning over on my sides and stuff like that, trying to get comfortable. The nurses are in asking you questions, and I'm just like, I'm going through contractions, you know, I can't talk. But hubby was there answering questions too for me. And let's see. So when they checked me, when we got there, I was already 5 centimeters dilated. And they called the doctor, and I ended up, you know, I kept laboring. Finally, I don't even remember what time it was. It had to be like, I don't know, around 10 a.m. They came in and they gave me my epidural, which was interesting because he said that my spine was not exactly straight. So he put the epidural in one spot and then he moved it up a little bit and did it in another spot. So, that was interesting. So then after that, I got the epidural. I started feeling better. I could not feel those contractions at all. So that was good. After that, after I got the epidural, kept laboring, and then finally my nurse was like, you know what, let's start to push. And once the epidural kicked in, I'm telling you, like, I could not feel anything. I could not feel my legs. And then we started to push, and I was trying to push his head out, and they had my legs up. My husband was holding one, the nurse was holding another one, and she was telling me, like, can you put your arms behind your legs? And I could do it on this side, my left side. On this side, my arm was completely numb. I could not feel my arm. And so when she said to hold your leg up, I did it on this side, and she was like, why aren't you holding on the other side? And I was like, I can't feel my arm. So they kind of went into panic mode. They called the doctor back who did the epidural, and they started doing an ice test on me, and they did it all the way up my body, and they said, can you feel it here on my leg? No. Here, 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 here. And literally the only place that I could feel the ice was here on my forehead. So they figured out something was wrong. They turned the epidural off so that my body could get back to normal. They had to put oxygen on me. Yeah, it was kind of intense. And then after that, the epidural, after they said, let's stop pushing, let's wait for this to wear off so you can actually feel. And so after that, the epidural started wearing off. The feeling started coming back in my arm, And then we took a little break and we started to push again. And once I started pushing and that epidural started wearing off, I was able to push him out better, because at first we were just pushing, and it was like he was moving down just a little bit and then he'd go back. So once the epidural started wearing off, we really started getting into it. I asked for like a popsicle. I was like, I need something to give me energy, because that morning I didn't even eat breakfast. I was just so over everything, just ready to get to the hospital. So I had a popsicle. We started pushing, and that's when it really started going. And after that, I'd say like it maybe took me like 20-30 minutes to push him out. And what really helped me is that they gave me a mirror, and they were like, you know what, it helped me because you can see the baby's head coming out. And I told myself, like, look, once you get his head out, that's it, you pretty much home free. So I kept seeing his head come out little by little, and that's what gave me motivation to keep going. And before I went into labor, I was like, I do not want a mirror. I do not want to see that coming out. That is gross. But once I actually was in it, man, I was like, this is such a big help. And so it took me maybe, like I said, 20-30 minutes to push him out. And which isn't bad, considering that contractions are maybe like 5 minutes apart, and each contraction you push. So I got him out, and by the way, once they broke my water, which was after they gave me the epidural, they found out that he had actually pooped inside. So I didn't get to hold him right away. They had to make sure he was okay. But after they determined that he was fine, he was able to come to me, and we did like skin to skin and all that stuff. So yeah, after I pushed him out, my husband cut the umbilical cord, and I actually don't even remember like seeing my husband cut the umbilical cord, which is crazy, but I could hear them. But for some reason, I don't know if I was so tired or it was still the epidural, I was out of it. I did not get to see my husband cut the umbilical cord, which kind of made me sad. But they did the test on him. Like I said, we had to deliver in triage, so they had the warmer and everything set up in that room that we were in, and they determined everything was fine with him. He was completely healthy. He came out 7 pounds 3 ounces 21 inches, and completely alert, looking around, and just beautiful. Like, we could not have been happier. It was a beautiful moment, and I'm glad that I got to share that with just me and my husband. He was right there by my side. Like I said, he was holding my leg up. He saw everything. He was just so active and there for me, and I'm happy that we could share that. It brought us, I think it helped me have a greater appreciation for my husband. Just the fact that he is a good husband and that he was able to be there for me in such a big way, it was amazing. Yeah, that's all I can say. And even with all the crazy stuff that happened with the epidural, it was a pretty tame labor and delivery. To me, labor and delivery wasn't difficult. Pushing him out wasn't difficult. You know, this period of adjusting to life with a newborn is even more difficult, but I will make a video on my postpartum stuff later. But yeah, it was a great experience. Becoming a mother has been awesome, and wow, that's all I can say. It's just an amazing feeling. And I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions about my labor and delivery, or you want to comment on anything, leave it below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.